Hell, viewers. Tonight, or rather today, I would like to announce the creation of my Legend of Dragoon Reddit. In this case, I have corrected the grammar because there was already a Legend of Dragoon Reddit already created. This is not associated with that. That is more of a fan community, actually. Whereas my particular Reddit is going to be primarily just focused on a more critical view of the narrative of the characters. So, I think discussion about the game has somewhat devolved to the point where most people, they have very good things to say about it, but at the same time, it seemeth as though a lot of the discussion is about how ambitious it is. It's so ambitious. The cutscenes look so good. The battle system is different. But is it good? That is my question. Is the story good in terms of how well made is it? How many holes does the story have? And that is something I think that particular topic, story holes, things that are not explained about the story, such as Claire, Heschel, different characters. I really would like to just express my opinions about that. Because I think for a lot of us, when we played this game, a lot of us played this game during the time when most of us had discovered Final Fantasy, or even before we had played the Final Fantasy game. So, for many of us, the game was it was different than anything we'd ever played. For a lot of people, this was their first RPG that they had played that was made in Japan. And so for many people, this was a really significant experience in their lives. And so all of the characters and how cool it was. I think Legend of Dragoon has a really big cool factor in terms of just coolness, so to speak, in terms of just, wow, it looks so cool. They even have these little horse things that are basically kind of like chocobos, okay? So, there are some people who will deny that this game took heavily from Final Fantasy VII, but it did. They have, at least as far as I know, one person who is basically pivotal to them creating this RPG, who was directly from Square Enix. He basically was working for Square Enix and switched companies. Now this is something I want to talk about regarding this game. And I don't even think the developers have really talked much about this particular fact. And I'm just going to say it. Rose is, for all intents and purposes, the most important character in the game, and she should have been the main character. And the question I would ask is, why was she not the main character? Because she has the most, in terms of details and story development, she has the most information about her. And for some reason, she's not the main character. Why do we have Dart? Why do we have a Final Fantasy Cloud ripoff? And I just have to just say it. The first character we see in this game, in terms of our party roster, not Dart, not no one else, alright? We see Rose. And I think if this game was made with Rose as the main protagonist, it would have been significantly different, better even, far better. People, the man who, one of the men who was involved in the making of this game says, they didn't, basically, the talk around is they didn't get enough money to make out of this one to make a sequel. In other words, they made a lot of money because they had overseas sales in the United States. But at the same time, it just was not enough to warrant a sequel. But if they had made Rose as the main character with her backstory, I think that we would not think of this in the same category, Legend of Dragoon in the same category as Final Fantasy VII, even though they did take a lot from Final Fantasy VII and Squaresoft. I think if they had decided, let's make Rose our main character, I think our whole discussion would be different. Instead, we get Dart, and Dart as a character is underwhelming. So I don't really want this video to be too long. I'm very happy to announce the Reddit, the subreddit. This subreddit is not the name of the game. I put a "the" in it. Legend of the Dragoon Reddit. For those of you who do not know, even though I've always called the game Legend of the Dragoon, the game is it's literally named and titled Legend of Dragoon in English, which is kind of strange, but that's how it is. So, for those of you who do not know, I've already talked a lot about Rose as a character. And that video is on the channel. It is called Genocidal Rose Story Thoughts. And in it, I just basically talk mainly, I give an overview of the game and just talk about what I think of this character and why essentially she is wasted potential, why Dart as a character he's not very significant in terms of his purpose, and for me, that was a problem. It was a problem that I felt I just need to talk about, because I know a lot of people have played the game, have a lot of memories of the game, and still play the game to this day. So, this is quite, I don't know, this is just a whole project I'm doing, mainly for the sake of nostalgia. So be prepared to see these new videos on my channel pertaining to Legend of Dragoon. Anyhow, viewers, I think I'll end it here. May you be blessed, and farewell. Okay.